saw what you did.
What are you talking about?
Come on, Chris.
Whatever you think you saw.
I know what I saw. Chris, you were watching. They were gonna kill her, and you were watching.
No, I swear.
You were gonna stand there and let it happen.
I would never do that, Alicia. I would never do that. Why? Why would I ever do that?
I don't know, but I'm not gonna pretend like it didn't happen.
You can't tell anyone, Alicia. Please, okay?
Chris, let me go.
You have to believe me. You can't say anything.
What if I do?
What the hell are you doing?
Chris, get out! Get out!
We had to, man. We had to.
Welcome everyone to Dead Talk Live. I'm your host Viz from Walking Dead Now, and it is my honor tonight to welcome our very special guest, Lorenzo James Henrie, who we all knew as Chris from Fear of the Walking Dead seasons 1 and 2. Lorenzo, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. It was fun watching those recaps. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah, a little blast down memory lane there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. So let's get started right away, man. When they were casting for Fear, being a spin-off from a very huge, successful show, The Walking Dead, was there a lot of secrecy to the auditioning process and all that?
Absolutely. It was probably like top 3 to 4 most secretive things I've ever auditioned for. Just the fact that they couldn't really release anything to me except for the audition scenes that I had. I knew that it was the Walking Dead spin-off series, but I had no real context until I got further into the director session stages.
Gotcha. Now we've heard stories from various actors that they go in for auditions and they have no idea. Like you said, you had no idea. It was a lot of secrecy. All you knew was it's sort of like a Walking Dead spinoff. Was it when you got the role that you found out what it was?
No, so I knew that it was a Walking Dead spinoff going in. I can't remember going into it or maybe later into the auditions phases of the process, but I literally only had my audition scenes to base anything. And as an actor, you always want context to what you're doing, so that way you know where you're at in the arc of the series. But I knew very little, but I thought that was exciting. Yeah. So it really brought a freshness and a rawness to the audition process, because you can have more fun with it, really.
All right, so now you got the part. All right, you are going to be on the first ever spin-off of The Walking Dead. I'm sure you knew how popular The Walking Dead was. Did that freak you out?
I did. It was so surreal going, because meeting everyone, they just, you go from auditioning to booking the series, and then all of a sudden you're on set. So it was just, I really had no processing of the gravity of it until I was really in Comic-Con that summer after we finished production, and then seeing thousands of people and fans there. So I didn't have time to process how insanely massive and awesome the Walking Dead universe is.
Oh man, that must have been so exciting. Now, did they give you an idea as to how long your character was going to last on the show, or it was all up in the air in the beginning?
They did. I knew. I mean, legally, I knew I had 2 seasons, But anything after that, there was nothing contractually I was obligated to, or they were obligated to keep me in.
Okay. Okay. Now, how far in advance did you find out that your time on the show was coming to an end?
So they brought me in season 2 uh, during the Easter break.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they told you.
It gave me some time to, before everyone knew. It was really gracious the way they handled it.
And I know that the current seasons of Fear are shooting in Texas. Where where did the original shooting take place for the first couple of seasons?
So we shot season 1 in Vancouver and Los Angeles.
Wow.
And then we shot season 2 in Rosarito, Mexico, Baja California.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
Now, Chris was such a complex character, obviously many different layers to himself. Now, Nick's character, played by Frank Delane, states to his mom that he finally belongs in the world that he is currently living in. Why do you feel Chris felt like such an outsider, even though he did have family that loved him and was trying to accept him? Why did he feel like such an outsider?
I think Chris felt like an outsider going into the zombie apocalypse. Because of his family, the setup of his family, the wounds of his family. I don't think he really felt like he belonged at school. I think he was still grieving with the separation of his parents, with his dad Travis and his mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I think going into the apocalypse, that's like the worst thing that could happen for this teenager that's dealing with family issues that never got resolved. I think if there was resolutions prior to the zombie apocalypse, then maybe he would have had a better head on his shoulders. But take all that teenage angst, take all those prior wounds, and then throw the zombie apocalypse, and then you get this character that you don't know where he's gonna go. And
We seem to have lost him. See if we can get him back. Here we go. Bear with me, guys. 1 second. Lorenzo, you there? Oh, hold on 1 second, guys. I apologize for this. The beauty of the internet and technology.
hello.
Hey, sorry, we lost you there. There we go. We got you back.
Is that my
Sorry
about that.
No, it's okay. It's okay. That's the beauty of live shows. Stuff like this happens all the time. So don't worry about it. So now you shared some amazing screen time with Cliff Curtis and Elizabeth Rodriguez, who play Travis and Liza, your mom. What were you guys' interactions off camera to try to stay in character as much as you can?
I don't, speaking personally from my perspective, but I don't think, I know Cliff has his own acting method, but our relationship off camera was family. And meeting Elizabeth and Cliff right away, they took me in as someone they knew for the past 20, 30, like working with them off camera was, I miss working with them. It was just a great family dynamic. They really embraced that. And I think it worked for on screen when they said action.
Absolutely. The interactions between your character, Chris, and Travis were some of the best. You guys played off each other so amazingly.
Well, Cliff is so brilliant. Cliff was, it was a treat to work with him. It was, I never went to film school or acting school, and working with him was like I had a front row of masterclass acting.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. Do you know where in the casting process were you cast towards the beginning, middle, or end of when they were rounding up the original gang of characters?
I think I was towards the end. I think I was towards the end of the process, and honestly, I've never, as an actor, it was during pilot season, which is when you get a bunch of auditions for TV shows, and you hope that this one show that you get is going to go on forever. And as an actor going into this, knowing that the show was already picked up for 2 seasons, I auditioned for it, had a director's session like the next week. It went by so fast that it was so surreal how fast it happened.
Wow. Wow.
And all the actors that, if there's anyone watching this, they know how fortunate someone has to be to have that quickness of something going. Because otherwise you have to wait for the network to test the series to see if it even works. So that way they know they're spending money for 10 episodes or 20 episodes. But this show was, boom, picked up for 2 seasons, which was surreal as an actor.
Oh yeah, it's almost unheard of right away. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Now, would you say that you already mentioned all the stuff that Chris was going through pre-apocalypse, during the apocalypse? Was Liza's death, your mom's death on the show, Chris's mom's, the turning point in the post-apocalyptic world for him?
Absolutely, 100%. That was his catalyst to season 2. I think that's what created his character arc with his father and with his trajectory of where he went off, obviously separating from the group. But absolutely, I think that was never, for Chris, I don't think that was ever resolved, and I don't think he ever saw eye to eye with Travis. And obviously, if he had more time, both characters had more time, maybe they could have saw eye to eye or resolved that wound.
Do you think he held a grudge? I mean, that it was Travis that put down Liza after, she was dying?
I think so, because there's a specific scene, I can't remember where, but I believe my character said, I could have saved her. Mm-hmm. So I think, the innocence of a teenager, he thought, even though she got bit, you don't kill her.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least let her turn into a zombie, she's gone, and then kill her. But I think the writers cleverly had that dynamic going.
Yeah, I could totally see that from a teenager's perspective. You're like, what? There's a way to save her. We just haven't figured it out yet. So I could totally see that. Now, if you look at your character arc on the show from a viewer's perspective, do you truly believe that Madison, Nick, and Alicia could have done more to make you feel like part of the family than what they already had done?
100%. I think from a viewer's perspective, yes. I think, I really think so. I think Madison did the most. I believe she made the efforts because she was in love with Travis.
Yeah.
And that me and Kim had really awesome scenes actually together in season 2. But I don't think in season 2 there was much interaction really with Chris and Nick and Alicia.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was more circumstantial.
And we saw that with Madison's character from the beginning while you were there, and even the season that followed your death as well. She always liked to give people the benefit of the doubt, the chance, and she really did try to reach out and accept Chris and make Chris feel as part of her family. Now, break down that dramatic scene on the farm when Chris takes the life of a boy by shooting him in front of Travis. What was that like, shooting with everybody that was involved in it? What did you do? What did you personally do to get in that mind frame to shoot that scene and so on?
First of all, when you're shooting a TV show, it's back to back to back to back to back to back to back. So you're sort of in the rhythm of where you are in the episode. At least that's how I experience things. So as far as preparation, I mentally I was prepared. But from a safety standpoint, from a production standpoint, it was the highest level of safety. All the stunt people made sure to make everyone feel super, super protected, super secure. That the prop gun that was cleared, everything was very safe. No one felt uncomfortable. And, you know, as an actor preparing for that scene and on the day, it's kind of funny, man. Acting is you can prepare all you want, but then once you're there on the day, your senses smell everything, you see everything, you build off of the actors that are there. So it's sort of like when you're acting, it comes alive on set, and it permeates everything.
Gotcha.
So I'm not saying it was easy, but the way the production and just being part of it, it was easy. It made me act better.
Yeah, I totally understand. I mean, I get you. I totally understand. Now, that act of Chris killing that boy, for me, as a fan of the show and as a viewer and all that, for me, that was the point of no return for Chris. He had a line. His father was begging him not to cross it. He did cross it. Is that how you played it out? Like, this is, I mean, you knew, obviously, as the actor, what was going to happen to Chris.
Yeah.
Did you have that in your mind, that this is the line, this is the point of no return for the character Chris?
Totally. I think I did it. We did it like we did it a bunch of times, the shooting and then the reaction of Chris. And Cliff Curtis is so awesome. I wish they would have used the take that Cliff off screen I would always go to him for notes, or he would always like tell me, you know, do this, do that. And of course, you know, the director ultimately has the authority. But one take that, because we were doing it a bunch of times, and one time Cliff comes up to me and he says, "Smile." And I was like, "What?" And he says, "Smile and enjoy it." And I was like, I would never think that, because it's such an intense scene. It's serious. You're psychologically, you're doing something contrary to what you would ever do. And then that little cookie that Cliff gave me, it would have changed the trajectory of Chris's character. He would have been like this big bad villain.
Yeah.
Which he you know, people said he was, but if they would have taken that take of me just smiling, I think that universe would have had something to worry about.
Wow. I'm remembering that scene, and I'm, you know, just trying to picture Chris. Now, were you smiling as he pulled the trigger, just before or after?
After.
Wow. You're right. It would have made you into, at that point, you would have been villain number one, you know, because
it would have changed the trajectory of the character arc if that's where they wanted to go.
Wow.
Because I think even the take they used was the natural trajectory of someone doing that.
Uh-huh.
And it was very serious. But if they would have done something different, like the note that Cliff gave me, it would have people would have been like, "What?"
Yeah. We did not see that coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, how did they shoot that truck crash scene? How much of that was you? How much of that was stunt doubles?
It was majority stunts. And I actually saw it on the day live. All the actors sort of stood, you know, we had a front seat row. The guy that did it, I respect stunt people so much, because he actually did that. They had the car rigged. He had a helmet. Did he have a helmet on? But it was, I made sure to like go up to the guy, make sure he's okay. It was pretty scary watching it live, but it looked good. It
looked great. It looked amazing. Now let's move on. In an episode that's called Not Fade Away, why do you think Madison believed Chris when Travis did not, about someone out of the safe zone trying to signal someone using Morse code? Basically, Madison believed you. Your father did not. Why do you think that was the case?
I thought Madison believed me because I think she was more open, and Travis was more closed-minded at that situation, because that was season 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Travis was more closed-minded at that point, and then Madison, I think, was trying to figure out what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
Versus Travis was trying to like solve things, and and it's okay. But Madison was more the let's look for the next clue type of a character.
Yeah.
So I think that's why she took it seriously.
I don't have this as one of my questions, but I gotta ask. When I saw the pilot on TV, I was very intrigued. And, as a fan of The Walking Dead, now I'm watching the spin-off series, I'm trying to gauge every character out. And I never would have guessed that Kim Dickens, Madison's character, would end up being, for lack of a better term, the Rick Grimes of Fear the
Sure.
Walking Dead. How did you feel about that? I mean, Kim she's legendary. She's such an amazing actress. How did it feel being around her and the presence that she brought to the set?
Like I said, I didn't go to acting school. I didn't go to film school. Being around Kim was like my master class. It was truly humbling how amazing she was. I consider her a friend, dear friend. And the way that she treated me on and off set was just, I think if I could sum it up in one word, it'd be classy.
Yeah.
She was a class act, a veteran. Her and Cliff were our captains.
Yeah.
And it was just a joy to watch her with so many other series under her belt, sort of show the younger people the ropes.
That's awesome.
I miss Kim. I miss all those guys.
That is so awesome. Now, in an episode, you and Alicia get into a house and trash it. Okay, you get in there and just trash it. Did you and Alicia have fun shooting that scene together?
It was hard to act because we were having so much fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I don't know if they used this in the actual show, but there was a snake they brought in, like almost a huge snake. I don't think they used it for the real footage, but they were gonna put a snake in the house, and they had people, the animal caretakers, bring snakes, and me and Alicia were hanging out with snakes prior to the shooting, and I can't stand snakes, but they helped me get over that fear of snakes. But it was a lot of fun. We broke a lot of fake stuff.
Oh man, that is so cool. Now the relationship that your character had with Alicia was very bizarre. Okay.
Yeah.
To say the least. She was sort of technically your stepsister. Now, do you believe Chris liked her more than just a stepsister, or did he at some point, I would say around season 2, start to focus all his anger that he had at the Clarks? It was really focused to Alicia. So did he like her beyond the stepsister, or was she just the focus of all his anger?
I think in season 1, it was very awkward, like you said. It was very confusing. But I think the awkwardness and the confusing hit on all of the 360 senses and feelings someone that's going through this might feel, because he might be attracted to her, he might like her, but then he changes his anger towards his dad. So I think season 1, I think there was a slight temptation of maybe liking her, but then his overarching character in season 1 wanted to prove to his dad that he can be his own person, his own man. And then season 2, I think, yeah, exactly. This wound and this anger happened with Alicia, and they really didn't. There was really no scenes to give them anything to point towards a love interest or something. There was nothing season 2 that our characters had to go with, and I don't think her character was there either. I mean, she had that couple episodes with she had a love interest in a couple episodes of season 2, but then that went nowhere.
Are you talking about the guy who was on the radio, the boat guy?
Yes,
who
yeah. I don't think they were ever planning to go there. I think it was just the temptation. It wasn't there.
Gotcha. Very well said. Now, would you agree with the statement that Chris's character was written in a way that you're either going to love him or hate him, but you are definitely not going to feel indifferent to him? Is that how you feel the character was written? Because
100%.
yeah, that's
100%.
exactly how you played it, man. I mean, awesome.
100%. My character was written to hate Chris. I think season 1 it was a little undefined. Honestly, from an actor standpoint and what I knew, I didn't. I don't think you hated Chris as much as you hated him season 2. So Chris could have gone, honestly, as an actor, when I was going into season 2, I thought, oh man, maybe him and Travis are going to be the heroes of season 2. So I was, excited to talk about the writers and the showrunners about that. But then they went, obviously, there's another way you can go, which is being the most hated character on the show. And I'm an actor. I got to do what I'm being paid to do, and you got to love it. Cliff Curtis was a huge. Cliff was my biggest champion because, as an actor, as a person on a series, you want your character to be liked. I think that's natural as a human being. You want to be liked. But once he really explained to me that there has to be that person on a show or on a movie, then I just embraced it, and it was full on. Okay, we're doing this. And just to parse that out a little more, it was really understanding who you were on the team, like on a basketball team or a hockey team. Like you're either defense, forward, right wing, left wing. Gotcha. And Chris was that character that had to understand his position to really make it the proper role on the team. I
totally get it. And I've spoken to a lot of actors who felt exactly just like how you described, but they all say by the end of their time as a bad guy, they enjoy it more. It's a lot more fun to play. Did you find yourself saying, you know what? Being the bad guy, acting as the bad guy is not so bad. It's pretty fun.
Totally. I think, I only so far as I think that it's only fun for me to play the bad guy, only so far as the bad guy gets bad consequences. Because otherwise, from a story perspective, from an actor's perspective, your character arc isn't closed. And I think that it would have been more fun, I think, to string along Chris as the big bad, the villain. Maybe he's still out there. I don't know, because you don't really see his death. It's told through someone's perspective, which I'm sure we'll probably get into that later on. But it was fun. It was fun. That's where Cliff was really helping me embrace that character, because he's played so many villains in so many movies. So he was able to help me see things that I wouldn't normally see as an actor.
That's awesome. Now, I assume you got a lot of various mixed results from the fans in the regards of fan mail. But I'm also going to guess, I'm going to go out on a limb here, that you also probably received some sympathetic messages. People that, in real life, dealing with parents, divorcing, mother, father, going with someone else, and they connected with Chris on a personal level. Did you get a lot of those?
You know what? Yes, I did. Absolutely, I did. I would go to these conventions while I was on the show, and of course, I would say 70% of the time you got people that said, "Why did you do that, Chris? I hate you. You should have listened to your dad." But then the other 30% were people that understood who Chris was, that were going through similar issues, that were going through, divorce and issues with their parents. And that's where it bums me out, because I'm like, I wish we could have had more time with Chris or with the parents to speak to those people that don't get spoken to in other TV shows. And I love talking to anyone that wants to talk about Chris at in person or at convention. So it was a joy for me to meet that 30% that really did embrace the character and like the character.
Because I got to say, personally, I did not hate Chris. I mean,
okay.
I felt sympathetic. I felt bad for him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I totally got he was confused, but I definitely did not hate Chris. I'm like, oh my God, you're making so many stupid moves here. There were times where I just wanted to reach through the screen and wring Chris's neck and, bring him back to reality. But he was just such a character that evoked so many different emotions, and sometimes all throughout the course of a single episode. Now, do you feel that Chris's death was deserved based on the decisions that he had made up to that point? That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think in a couple questions ago I was saying I like playing the bad character so long as the bad consequence happened. So in a very short answer, I would say yes, because he went off and he became this bad guy, and you get what you deserve, sort of a thing. But I also think there could have been, which there still might be, room for Chris still being out there, still having room to play with his character arc, because it could have served for a better ending, and whatever they want to do in the series. They need that big bad, they need that big villain, and you could have explored more of Chris to understand a resolution than maybe him dying. I don't know, dying at the season 7 or season 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
But it would have been fun personally and selfishly to explore that character more. But I'm at peace with them thinking that Chris is dead at season 2.
Okay, and you never know what the future will bring. Now, when Chris sees Madison fighting with a walker, he doesn't help. Was this, would you say, out of fear, or did a part of him want Madison to get bit and die and suffer the same fate that his own mother did?
I think totally out of fear. That's the way I was playing it as an actor. Okay. And that's the way that I talked to the writer. And it's so hard as an actor to portray those emotions on screen like that.
Yeah.
So I think I had to stick to something, and that's what the writers gave me. So yeah, sorry, it's a quick answer, but yeah, I think it was out of fear.
No, it's a perfect answer. Sometimes the shortest answers are the best one. Now,
because I remember that, because I remember where we shot that. I remember that scene, and it was totally a confusing thing for me as an actor. But then once I got clarity from the producers and writers, it was I was committed.
Now we're gonna get to a question later on about another project that you were on. But as far as TV shows go, was Fear the Walking Dead the one that probably had the biggest budget that you had been on so far?
Totally. TV show wise, yes. Yeah, 100%.
I say that because I know you were on Star Trek, and we're going to get to that in a little bit.
That was a big movie.
Yeah, and I know that definitely outweighs Fear. But for TV production, did you go in there having acted for? You've been acting since what, 11?
Younger than that, like 5, 6, something like that.
So, were you amazed at the sets that they had set up as opposed to doing everything all CGI?
So what's kind of special about Fear the Walking Dead was, so it was shot in Rosarito, Mexico. If you've ever been there, it's where they shot the Titanic. Oh. They built James Cameron built his soundstage studios out there. And the people that go down there usually build their own cities and towns.
Wow.
What's cool about this was a year prior, or 2 years prior, my brother, David Henrie, shot a movie called Little Boy in Rosarito. And when I got on set, because I've been there before, I visited my brother on set when they were shooting. They used so many of the same things that my brother used on set.
Wow.
So I remember driving the golf cart around the studio, and I was sending videos to the producers that my brother shot the movie with and sending it to David. And I was like, the circle of life, I'm back here shooting a show where my brother was here. So it was kind of like, the stars aligned.
I know, it came full circle.
It came full circle, but it was definitely one of the biggest budget shows I've ever been on. I think from the CG's perspective, I've never, I did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. right after that, but prior to that, I've never experienced the technicalities with, when you're doing the action sequence, it has to be done twice because you do it with the fake prop and then you do it with the prop that has the green on it to CGI things, that way it can stab the zombies and stuff. So that was a learning curve for me, because you just, you got to follow the directions and do it, and you got to make it look like you're acting. So it was awesome. It was really awesome.
That is so cool. Now, Chris sees Madison, and Alicia asleep, and he picks up a knife on the nightstand. He is interrupted by a gunshot. By the look that you played that scene on your face, it looks like Chris was not there. You were like zoned out. So what can you tell us? What was going through Chris's mind when he picked up a knife and walked into where Madison and Alicia were sleeping?
It was deer in the headlights. His intention was not to hurt or harm anyone. He got caught doing something that they didn't understand his intention, and that's why he booked it right after that. Gotcha. Because he was embarrassed.
He was scared. Yeah, when Alicia told him to get out, he was totally scared.
He was scared.
When Chris was talking to Travis and said, "This is how it works now. Look around. There is no more good. There is no more bad, right or wrong. It's us or them. Kill or be killed." Yep. With Chris being so young, why do you think he took on such a grown-up, cavalier attitude at such a young age?
I think that was the fulfillment of his character arc. So he felt like he was, we talked about this a lot with the producers and the showrunners, and that was the moment where Chris was the dad and Travis was his son. That's the way that's the way I was told to do that scene and to do the that intention. So that was the moment where checkmate, Travis. Yeah. You're in my world now, and you either follow me or you don't. So that was a fun scene to play with Chris, with Cliff, because we had fun. Me and Cliff had so much fun doing that stuff.
That is so cool. Now you played, like I said before, Chris exceptionally well. Would you have liked to have seen Chris change at some point to a more, for lack of a better term, likable character before his death on the show? Maybe a little bit of redemption.
I mean, yeah, but I think my main thing would be I would have liked to see him more as the villain and then the demise, because I think there was at no point of return for Chris to become likable. So I think they could have had more opportunity to see him as the villain, and maybe, that last minute deathbed change of life, and then you like him and then he dies and you're like, no, don't die. Yeah. But I don't know. I was so pot committed to the unlikableness of Chris that it's hard for me to even think about the likability of someone like a Nick or an Alicia, that I would have to unwind so many years of acting to even think about that.
But from what we do see on the Walking Dead universe, redemption is possible. Now, let's say Chris did survive the accident. You're right, we don't really know. Would that have been the wake-up call that he needs to say, whoa, what have I been doing? The wake-up call he needs to maybe start changing his ways.
I think from a story perspective, I think that closeness to death would have waken him up. I think it would have taken something like that to slap him in the face to change his life. Just sort of like with Nick's character, with Frank, he had the apocalypse was his catalyst to becoming clean and sober. Yeah. So Chris never had that inciting incident to make him clean and sober. He had a catalyst to make him dark and angry and villainous. Mm-hmm. So maybe it would have taken the opposite extreme of his character arc, like a near-death experience, to be like, crap, I saw the light. I need to go. I need to help. I need to fix this. I need to fix this. And then he could have gone back with Travis, and the gang.
Man, ooh, we got
hey, you never know.
You never know. You're right. You never know. So what was your initial reaction when they said they told you over Easter break, when you get the script and you see how your death is going to come, how do you feel about the death that they gave you on the show?
Maybe it was part of my my pitch to them, but I think it was my pitch to them when they brought me in to tell me that Chris isn't going to go past season 2. all I said was, please, don't have me go in don't put the zombie makeup on me, because I just didn't want to get, I see everyone there. They, which is awesome. They sacrificed. They spent hours putting on these prosthetics and everything. And I was like, just one to the head, and then I'm done. and I said, please just give me that request. And you know what? Maybe I said something. Maybe it was easy writing. But that's when you see, the camera pulls off and then Chris gets shot.
Yeah.
So, which sort of leaves, like we said, it could have, he didn't turn into a zombie, which that's a death. So you never know. Maybe they got something going on in the Walking Dead universe.
You never know. That is true. And not just the death scene, that whole sequence of events that followed preceded your death scene was an awesome sequence, with the truck, the crash, you kicking your way out, crawling, and then they come over you. And of course, their mentality, he's going to hold us down. Let's kill him. They shot it really well. Absolutely. Do you believe there was more to Chris's story that needed to be told, that they maybe cut it too short?
Yeah, I think so. I think they could have. I think they could have done more with Travis and Chris. Look, I'm a sucker for father-son storylines. Those are some of my favorite movies and TV shows are father-son storylines. So I personally would have liked to seen Travis and Chris go on more. So yeah, I mean, I think you could have had more awesome little golden nuggets with those character arcs that could have contributed to the main cast as well, and the overarching themes and character arcs.
Gotcha. Now, what was your favorite scene to shoot on the show? Like, is there one that really particularly stands out in your mind?
Let's see here. Favorite. It's kind of hard to favorite one because it's all serious.
Well, how about the most fun?
I would say, oh man, we had a lot of fun. Crap. I think anytime we were on the boat as a full cast, it was kind of like everyone was, jamming, getting together, singing, dancing. But I can't really pinpoint a scene because there's so many awesome moments in working with everyone.
Now, when you guys were on the Abigail, the name of the yacht, was that actually shot out at sea? Not obviously out in the middle of the ocean, but was it a set of some sorts?
So, like I said previously, it was shot at Rosarito Studios, which they shot the Titanic there. That's where James Cameron set up the scenes for the Titanic. And we built a fake yacht that it was actually meant, it was so that way they could cut costs but also shoot around the ocean. We filled the whole soundstage with water, ocean water.
Wow. And
they would just, to get different shots, they would pull the Abigail. It looked like a yacht, but it was on like a pontoon. And that was an experience shooting on that. That was really cool.
That is cool. I would have.
They had like the Mexican SEAL team there.
Wow. Yeah. Do you still keep up with the show at all?
I'm terrible. I don't. Yeah.
Now, does it surprise you that from the original cast, only 3 members still remain on the show, and that would be Coleman Domingo, Alicia, and Ruben Blades, who we're going to get to in a little bit as well. Does it surprise you that those are the only 3 still standing?
It doesn't. No. I mean, maybe Ruben's a rock star, so maybe knowing his schedule outside of Fear the Walking Dead, I know that Ruben's a rock star and lives this secret rock star life. Not secret, but he's a Latin American musician sensation. So it really doesn't, because Ruben's a pro. Anyone, take anyone, take Cliff, take Kim, take Mercedes. It wouldn't surprise me if any of them were the last 3, because everyone's a pro. But I think there was something special about Coleman's character. When Coleman came on set, they brought Coleman in episode 6, season 1. and all the actors, we all knew this Strand character was a mystery. They wrote it so brilliantly, and Coleman they threw the softball up and he knocked it out of the park.
Oh, he's amazing.
So it doesn't surprise me. Coleman was a dear friend, and he was very awesome. And then Alicia is just amazing, great actress, great person, and Ruben again. You always need a rock star on the show, right?
Ruben is amazing. When did you find out that Kim had left the show?
So I found out I think when everyone else found out. I didn't expect it.
Nobody did. Nobody did. Yeah.
I didn't expect it. I knew Cliff was gonna. I knew when he was gonna die. Again, like I said, we're good friends, and he called me and he's like, Travis is gonna be joining Chris in heaven, and I was like, what? Sorry, I can't do a New Zealand accent if my life depended on it. But no, I didn't expect Kim's character to die. And I think Frank's is a little different story.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, now going back to Ruben Blades, you're right. He is a rock star. He's amazing. What was your personal experience just working with him? You explained, with Curtis and Kim and Elizabeth. I mean, what was Ruben like?
Ruben was like, Ruben, he was awesome. We grew up in similar cultures, that Latin American culture. So it was like we knew each other. Like we grew up with the same type of respects of life and everything from a personal perspective. So him seeing me on set, it was like I was working with someone I grew up with. So he was very respectful. And you could see the professionalism of his, he's a musician. Mm-hmm. You can see that perfection on set, which was really cool to see. But also him having expertise outside of acting was cool to see because, a lot of it is hitting your mark, knowing your lighting, knowing audio. And he knew those things because he's a musician. Mm-hmm. So he was a good, sweet guy, very, very humble. I remember one time we were at dinner with everyone. The majority of the cast, and we're in Valle de Guadalupe at this vineyard eating dinner, and obviously all the workers there know who Ruben Blades is, and his song pops up on the radio at the restaurant. Oh. And everyone starts singing Ruben's song at the table, and then all the employees, and Ruben was so shy, he didn't want anything to do with it. And then finally he starts singing, and that was probably one of my favorite times on set with everyone was when Ruben started singing his own song in just the most humble and sincere way.
I would have loved to have been a fly on that wall.
Yeah, I know.
Let's switch gears to Star Trek, okay? You played a young Vulcan who was bullying a young Spock. How did you get that role?
Again, when the stars aligned, they just sort of happen. It's so surreal as an actor to get a role. But I had an audition for Star Trek. Again, super secretive, no script. You just showed up and you auditioned for the role. And to be honest with you, there were several Vulcans that were bullying the young Spock, and I thought I guess they booked 3 actors and they were going to figure out which actor was going to be a certain character, but I thought I was going to be one of the different Vulcans. And we trained for several weeks. They took us through like Vulcan school, kind of like they take zombies in The Walking Dead in zombie school. Yeah. And we learned how to fight like a Vulcan. They brought us into Paramount for several weeks, trained us with the stunts, and J.J. Abrams was on set with our scenes, and that was one of the most memorable things in my acting career was working with J.J. Abrams. Because, on a lot of these big movies and even TV shows like our show, they bring in second unit directors because it's more for, the secondary plot storylines, the BC storylines, which are important, but not the main storylines. So I for sure didn't think I'd be working with the J.J. Abrams. And he was there on set directing us. He even showed up for my what's called ADR. It's for voiceovers when you don't catch it on set. you go in, you loop it at a soundstage,
Uh-huh.
and then they edit it into the characters. That way it sounds like you said it normally.
Uh-huh.
He was there. He was at my ADR sessions,
Wow.
coaching me. And I was like, JJ freaking Abrams?
JJ Abrams. Actually, that was like my next question. What the hell was it like working with JJ Abrams directing you?
It was like, it's like working with Cliff and Kim, these veterans that are just, you know, huge actors, and JJ's obviously a huge director, but it was too short. I wish I could have had a bigger role and a lot more time with him, because he was a master at his craft, and watching him was awesome.
It was a fantastic movie. It was an absolutely great reboot of the Star Trek. Moving forward in your career, besides acting, is there any other roles that you want to seriously pursue as maybe a producer, writer, director, or is acting the way what you want to stick to?
You know, it's kind of crazy, because after Fear the Walking Dead, my brother and I, with my dad, we have a TV and film development company. And you know, as an actor, it's only so often that you get auditions for shows like Fear the Walking Dead, or my brother Wizards of Waverly Place. It doesn't come around every day. So getting a role is kind of like a mini miracle. You never know when it's going to happen. And, you know, because we were young and we grew up in this business, my dad produced as well. We're like, let's create the opportunities for ourselves, but let's also make content that we believe in, that we really love, and that we want to see, that we would want to audition for. And we have a full development company. We have a show at Netflix.
Wow.
A 10-episode animation series, but Netflix, I don't think I can say, talking about secretive, I can't talk too much about it.
Oh, so it's not on Netflix yet?
It'll come out next year, 2021.
Okay, well, we'll be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, I'll send it all out. But we just produced a big movie that I was an actor in, that my brother directed and our company produced. It was called This Is the Year, and it was the first ever live virtual premiere ever of a movie, and it was a COVID relief benefit event where you could watch the movie like this and interact with the cast after the movie. And we had Jeff Garland was in it. Selena Gomez was the executive producer.
Wow.
We had an awesome all-star cast that was in it. So the dream role, I mean, I'm having so much fun producing that I just want to make good content and make good TV shows and movies. So I think that's majority of my focus. And if that dream role pops up, I'm ready. And I would love to be part of a franchise again, a big series. Before Fear the Walking Dead, I was up for a few big franchises, and that hunger and that thirst is in me. That competitiveness of me is there, because you know, I didn't quite get it, but I was, you know, the second guy up.
Yeah.
So I'm mentally ready.
What is the name of you and your dad's production company, if you don't mind? So.
Yeah, it's called Novo Media Group.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. Now, as our final question, because we are almost out of time.
Yes.
When did you start? I know your career started like around when you were around 11. When did you know that acting was the thing that you wanted to pursue? At which stage in your life?
Senior year of high school.
Did anything trigger it?
I think senior year I was, 18 years old, and I think that's an age where you're becoming your own man, you're becoming your own person, you want to, take control of your life. And I grew up knowing one thing in life, and that's performing. And, I like any kid that played sports or was in theater or whatever, extracurricular activity, it was pure fun for me. Until I turned 17, 18 years old, and I started getting close to really major series, really major movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this could be sustainable the rest of my life to do this. But I also knew how rare it is to actually book a Fear the Walking Dead, to book a major movie. So I always knew if it's not going to work out, I'm going to bust my butt and do whatever I can to provide for myself, provide for a future family. And I always knew that, you know, I'm not gonna let this, you know, even though I have the talents there, I'm not gonna let it bring me down as a human person.
No.
I could use those talents in any other job sector in my life, and that's what I hope every person does, whether it's podcasting, you know, real estate, a janitor, this or that. You can use your talents in any sector of the workforce, and you don't have to let that bring you down.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. Do you ever regret the decision that you made, knowing the success that you have faced, and you're still so young? Your career still has so much success ahead of it. Is there any point where you might second guess and regret it?
You know, that's a great question. I think it was right before I booked Fear the Walking Dead that very thought popped into my head, because I was getting really close, like I said, to some major franchises. I was up for the Maze Runner. I was up for The Giver. I was up for several other, the Bumblebee movie with the Transformers. And I was despairing. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not my calling. Maybe that's a sign that I should just leave. And I was getting really desperate, like anyone would, having those feelings of despair and sort of sadness. And going into Fear the Walking Dead, I was like, there's no way I'm getting this show. There's no way I'm getting this show. I just got close to all these movies. I'm barely going to get this. And in my head, I was like, this is my last audition ever. I'm done with acting. And I got slapped in the face, because I auditioned for it. I got a call back right away, director section the next week, and then they offered me the role.
Good job, man. I'm so glad that's such a brilliant, awesome story, and I hope it inspires a lot of our viewers who are watching right now. And I guess, guys, the overall theme is don't give up, okay? Yep. Go for your dream. Don't give up. Lorenzo, it has been an honor talking to you for this last hour. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to all our viewers who tuned in tonight. Again, Lorenzo, it's been a pure honor. Thank you so much for being here with us. Guys, stay safe. I'll be back on the air again tomorrow night. And remember, stay walking. Good night.
Have a good one, brother. Bye.